on a Limitless. The desk is split in half, and honestly, I'd have it no other way.
Look, maybe there's a little bias factoring into there, but honestly, it's on both ends to some extent. I gotta side with my boy CoJo for one reason or another. I also still like the idea of thinking that maybe Shutout and Beaky have a little more say in this one because of the reasons we mentioned earlier. Regardless, should be a good game nonetheless. However, we go straight in, and it's take Flyte on the offense. They'll be setting the pace from the get-go.
I love Anubis, dude. I can't wait to see what they put forward right now. Take Flyte. Haven't caught them on that in recent history, but it's Limitless who have the expectations set for them. The bar high between you and I. Go into this now with a set of dualies between Dane and Poseidon, both playing from mid. I believe it is going to be the test for the B-bomb site anchor. Maybe not, actually.
Maybe not. I was going to say.
Dedicated to either way. I'm not really sure, but it looks like they're still kind of geared up towards it, doesn't it?
This is kind of hard, though, because it's all going to depend on how well this take is executed, I feel, from Limitless, or from Take Flyte. They won't have time to react and get the rotations over, and they're not going to have a lot of map control to help them either. One smoke, they're forced out. They're forced for a 5-on-5 retake, and now a lot's favoring them with one smoke and one flash. I don't know how far that's going to get them.
Going to be grouped up, bodies galore, but will it come to matter? They got some set of crossfires, as Beaky is the most awkwardly placed of them all. It's he who kind of has to rely on the shot to be hit from one of the left or right players, and as it is him who activates first, it puts MDS in quite the sticky situation. Shot down, but able to play around this pillar and funnel him into Gabe, who's gotten 3 headshots onto all of them, and Doom going to meet the same fate. It's Take Flyte who win out on the pistol.
And that was the problem, right? It was all really banking on the fact that one flash and one smoke was going to be enough to get you back in. And it wasn't. There's so many different angles you have to clear out when you're going into that site. Let's even say that flash hits it first and you take down the player on the pillar. Well, now you've still got a 2- or 3-man crossfire from the player in con, the player on site, the player in pizza. There's so many different angles you have to worry about. It felt like that was reaching a little bit.
Be a full save for the most part, a single Zeus and a single P250. Not exactly going to be a recipe for anything more than a kill, maybe 2, and that's not the meal they were hoping to feast on in this early stage, but Limitless are just going to have to be biding their time, as this is, I guess, the appetizer. Main course soon to come. MDS just testing out E-Box right now, tossing in some utility to try and pressure them backwards, but Poseidon and Doom stand their ground.
I think this is a game of damage if you're Limitless. Right, don't let those Mac 10s get a lot of cash. Maybe is also a side quest, but you can take an AK or 2 away, force a handful of rebuys. That wouldn't be too shabby. And CoJoMo's taking low early on. Like, this is not improbable, but it's pretty damn tricky. Again, you're looking at a 2-on-5 at A right now, and it shouldn't be too, like, same for what the rest of the map has just happened for, but leading up, CoJo traded out, actually, 2 for 2. Not what I was expecting, but the round should still come to a quick conclusion with Shutout sitting behind the smoke. Was a little worried there. MDS was taken worryingly low, but now it's just a USP and a... What? All right, why not? Sure.
I don't know. There's 2 of them there, one of them being low, and as that bomb's planted, Shutout's going to have a lot more to worry about than his flank, and there's an AK on the floor. Will he be ready for Beaky? Surely not. Head seen, no? Okay.
That's crazy.
He'll take that, but no, MDS crossing back to go to A there, or B there, is a little bit curious for me. Imagine, even for a second, that the mid player is a little closer, drops the bomb, and that's 3 kills on the round.
It was just a bold play from Beaky, too.
Really,
I mean, to sit on B and, like, just wait for the save to come through, that's kind of crazy. Or not even the save. I think he was looking for him in A main.
That's
with
right.
the Mac
yeah,
10.
That's where they expected him to be coming from. At that
yeah.
point. Yeah.
But still, I'd like to see a little more map control taken in the following from Limitless. Off instantly onto the back of CoJo. Nothing too shocking. And they're setting him up for success early on. Maybe a molly for Doom could suffice. Or a dink back. Good stuff. Nade just barely off the money. Not enough, but MDS is as he sprints in. It's a nice headshot to kick off the round, and Melo's the only one here to try and find a trade. Successful in the endeavor, but it's a trade back from CoJo, which keeps them up by a man. Poseidon down for the count, and the round should be theirs.
Yeah, that is just a series of unfortunate events, it feels like, for Limitless trying to make something happen. They're dropping the nade out in the middle of nowhere, trying to blow up in the smoke that was already fading. was already going to give him the vision that he needed, and as he does, the player on the other side is going to pull the gun out quicker from the draw. Dane, no chance at all. Seating all the way back into Beaky's open arms once again, potentially, as he sits outside the A main, lurking and lingering at the top side of the rugs. The top ropes, he'll drop down in a moment, maybe, as the bomb expires. He is the one with highest HP. Just for his prey to get stuck in his web. That's a little bit dangerous from Mello there to find that one kill and go on the wide swing. And look, oh my god, he is Batman. He does drop. More ways than one.
He's not going to take it. Okay. What was he going for there?
Just hoping that if they peeked him, I don't know.
I was a little worried that maybe it was like a lag out or something, but nah, he seems fine. Feels like we would have definitely got the pause by now if it was. That was just a well-executed round from Take Flight, it feels like, man. I mean, it was just quick to the jump, quick in the response. Like, look at how deep that round felt for Take Flight, where CoJo was set up to find the first pick, and instead, he gets dinked, then naded, and Take Flight are still finding the first pick because their backup plan is having MDS use this smoke effectively and find a kill instead. Like, there's a couple of different ways this round can go good for Take Flight, and then beyond that, they're instantly ready to execute and pop in after getting what they're looking for.
Another round that they're going to be just hoping to find something with the investment to come back into the next, as the loss bonus will continue to accumulate, but anything else, holding on to that A1S and carrying it over, as well as the utility and kit on Dane, is going to be probably priority numero uno, other than winning out the round outright. CoJo's op was going to be out before, but as it stands, not really tested all too much in this game, and as time goes by, maybe we'll see a little bit more of that, but as we do have a slight technical issue to square away, I do want to say 3-0 up on the start of Anubis for Take Flight. I think that's actually going to be pretty solid considering the data we have for Limitless in recent history.
Yeah, and the one thing I'm surprised about is the fact that they are up 3-0. Now, it may seem like it's not much, but to me, I think one of Limitless's big consistencies on this map was their ability to win pistols, and that's not really what we saw them come out of the gate with. It feels like it's one of their strengths, usually, something they can pretty confidently rely on. Whether they've won all of them or not, it isn't really what I'm arguing for here, but the fact is they've won a good majority of them, and in almost all of their won maps, that's their big ace in the hole, right? Even in the games they go close with, they usually separate themselves by winning these rounds early on, by getting themselves a big lead at the beginning of a game, which they've kind of been thrusted out of doing here. And so far, what we've seen out of the one rifle round, it's kind of hard to judge because, like I said, I think Take Flight, by the way, it's 4-0, which isn't entirely surprising. It was an anti-eco, but I think Take Flight played the round great in the third, whereas Limitless couldn't have really shown us maybe taking early map control or trying to force their hand at something. But the pace has been set, and this is what I was worried about a little bit for Take Flight. The fact is, now you're going to have to start burning through your counter utility rather early to stop something like a quick peek, to stop something like an early pop, to stop something like an opening pick, which that's going to cause its whole kerfuffle of issues, but I don't know how far they can really take it.
Yeah, and I guess, you know what, like, it's the age-old question of what will the team look like when Poseidon gets his AWP out, right? I mean, that's
true.
Again, what we were touching upon as being one of their biggest and best. Having it in gun rounds is going to be extremely important, and counter utility is one thing, but setup utility is an entirely different thing, right? Trying to get them into a position where the CTs can actually make something happen without that AWP is always going to be a little bit wishy-washy on a map like Anubis, considering your ranged fights are going to be all of them. The only place you're going to be able to do anything is A main. And if you can't get out there with a couple of rifles, then you're just wasting your A-bomb site, you're in instant save. And look at that, the AWP is out. It's in full effect. We're going to have to see Poseidon, or at least somebody play around Poseidon in order to kind of counteract what Take Flight have put forwards on the rifles. I'm excited to see how they
Something's got to do it.
Opt to do that.
Something
yeah.
has to.
Let's see, where's he on the map right now, huh?
That's a good question. I can't even. He's on B. Oh, he's going to go for a con peek? We may soon see a duel between he and CoJo. Again, this is what they're doing. Rifles come out, they're going to try this quick A-pop again, but they know that this time around, Limitless have gone through and taken control of canals. However, double-edged sword, left all alone, is Poseidon on the big green. MDS lurking back in, looking for an opener, and when she capitalizes on the Poseidon whip, And again, it's stuck to a 4-on-5. Doom next up, and MDS takes him down just like that. This guy is an MVP in the making.
Such good space in the early stages for Limitless there to be able to take control of this round. It's just the inability to be able to counteract the B pop as a response that's always going to come down to MDS again, like you mentioned, being another player to find multi-frags galore. Bit ugly there, but that's okay. Yes, not the one I think you typically point your finger to say expected MVP potential performances, but with that being the case, if he is going to put this sort of a performance up,
I know.
how can you deny?
I don't even know if you'll get out of here with your grape stuck in a molly. It burns perfectly, dude.
What?
That's the second
crazy.
one of those in the round, bro. Well, 5-0 start for Take Flight. Back to an eco goes Limitless. I mean, maybe they can muster up a half buy, but yeah, no, they're gonna need to start dumping early utility. I think that's got to be your next level of adjustment here if you're Limitless. They've done good stuff to take early map control, as you said. They set themselves up for success early on. Just the lack of any capitalization or even stopping capitalization from the other end is what really put them in that hole from the get-go. MDS, though, that's his second or third time just walking in and taking names.
Yeah, and something that you mentioned was beside missing one of his shots, that one shot was enough for him to be run down by that point forward. It's honestly not going to be a great look for him to start, but when you only get to fire one shot in the round its entirety, I guess you can't really chalk it up to anything more than just an oopsie daisy until it becomes a real issue, right? But the real issue, it might not be that one shot that misses, but it's the fact that they don't even have one round on the board. Enter this one, and they've only got pistols. So he go up close, and Dane needs to be ready to find at least one here, and if he doesn't, it is going to be pretty much just calling it a day, because peeking in from camera side is not going to be an easy feat, as the utility burns them backwards, and there is a lurk.
At this point, you might be looking for kills. There's Mello. Shot on the shutout. That's an untradeable asset. Double down. Now you've got a round on your hands. Two guns in the side of Limitless as people have to start locking back in. Beaky's dropped instantly, and things are looking scary. Their first round is surely not via eco, right? Double back from Gabe. Starts to ease there. Worries Grapes. Low, they've spotted them both. CoJo's just missed. A 1v2 with the first flick falling and the second following suit. Even without a kit, this will be a round from Limitless. No way they've just done it on an eco of all places.
Oh my god, and it all starts with that player at camera being so far forwards with no chance for anybody to get back into vision. If he dies there, which he does, that is an extraordinarily difficult position to play from as the player who's tucked up high. I forget who it was, but Grape swings out from camera side after having found that AK-47 and absolutely decimates them. It's really, really hard. But if that is going to be the round that you take, there's much more to be talked about in this game than just maybe a rough start from this, and this is where they can start to get their sea legs back.
I mean, that's a big rounds to get momentum on.
Huge.
Take Flight. They're not stopping with the quick pops. They've had good execution before. It seems like they're gonna try it again. Utility in the counterpart has been completely, there's just nowhere to be found. Walk straight in, couple of smokes, couple of mollies, sights yours, bing bang boom. And Gabe's trying to lurk around the one short. Oh, don't tell me this is why they made it. Keeping up a distraction coming through. I love this. Gabe pulls the trigger a little too early. And it's not done what they were intending for it to do. A lot of damage, but no kills come through. Another molly in, and they were all been kept at bay in CT spawn.
3 kits, 2 mollies, 1 smoke. That's going to be the name of it, too. So, oh my lord, wait, they're picking up more. There's 3 smokes, 3 mollies, and they're waiting to pop out. Gabe, he's going to be the biggest piece of this one. As that nade is blowing open, Doom gets his, and they can just lock it down from camera, but it's not going to be enough. It's going to be bodies running in from all different angles, and CoJo, not with the up, but with the AK, has already gotten 2, and time's a ticking, off is out, and CoJo with the clutch.
Even some BM for good measure. It's the duel that we've been talking about a couple of times in this series, CoJo and Poseidon, but it's not even on the weapons you'd think. Exchanging for the upgrade, CoJo gets his back for free and makes up for the previous round's shortcomings by answering with a 6th. I love it. I love it. That's what I'm talking about, though, on a Take Flight, right? Like, there's so many different little niche intricacies and rounds going on, so many different ideas. There, they throw the smokes so that Gabe can lurk around the one in short. Beyond that, it's not just Gabe. It's MDS battling from behind it to make them think nobody's going through it. He's distracting everybody. Gabe Gabe misses. That's the first thing that goes wrong. Gets traded out, gets stuck in no man's land, and then even after that, even after being down in a 4-on-5, 5-on-3, something of that sort, it's the crossfire that works. It's the remaining utility that works for Take Flight. It's not just one thing with this team.
Listen, that's all well and good, and I don't disagree with any of it, but 3v1 there, you have him stuck in the middle of the bomb site. There's no reason to be rushing these fights. 3 players on all different sides of him. He has no escape. He has no utility. You have an off in the picture. Well, it's never going to be an easy post on anything if you're just what my run is right. It's on you.
Relying or not, they got away with one and they didn't get away with another. CoJo, he's loved posting up for this pick round B main. But you won't even have to battle against Poseidon this time around. Are they going to jiggle in? I was going to say, this feels suicidal if you do, but it feels like their cue isn't even CoJo getting a pick, but it's him not getting a pick. Because instantly, you see 3 players line up and CoJo eventually takes down Doom. Last man behind the site won't even get a piece of damage off before it's lost.
There it is again. Another set of entries into this bomb site with nothing to stop them. So far on the A site, it's been them getting in and, I mean, well, one round not getting out because of the eco upset, but it's going to be either them getting into the bomb site with 5 or them getting into the bomb site with the other team down by 2, sometimes 3. There's never even a semblance of what feels like any level of control on any of these holds. And that needs to change now. Like, there is no more time to wait. There's no more excuses to be made. Good work to take the guns out of the hands of the remaining CTs, as the AWP is going to be the most expensive of them all, but a tight shot, a tight angle, and the SMG faster onto the movement, able to retake a little bit more ground, but Poseidon is going to be lucky to get away with his life right now if it is going to be even an opportunity as the smoke hits the floor. He should be fine.
Oh, they have a nade still? How did they still have a nade? I thought he was dead man walking. What? Well, look. That's crazy. He gets away with the AWP, so that's a win. But can't really say much about anything else. And this is even going on to put what should be an anti-eco, again, for Take Flight, minus the big green from Poseidon, which, again, its impact has been limited.
Mm-hmm. And I don't want to be that guy, right? He was our man of the match. Doom right now.
Yeah.
We're missing him. We're simply missing him.
We're missing both of the people we talked about as mainstays of this Limitless team.
Yeah.
It almost feels like Poseidon isn't really taking much initiative to get these opening picks beyond maybe the very basic one in like connector. There's no setup going on for him. They're not like flashing him into B main or flashing him into mid or flashing him into A main.
That's not something you can really afford to do when, no offense, no one else is doing anything to stop them on their way in or their ways out of the bomb sites on these retake attempts. So here it is, up tested, up high, CoJoMo elevated will be taken down as there's more to come. Shut out, they do the same as he's got a trade available. PS has been hot. Right now, they are going to put a pump onto the brakes. Bit of a cut to the gas line. Shutout is in it with the Deagles down low. Indeed, nearly able to finish off another.
Oh, that was so scary. No, he has the bomb. Oh, I thought he was going back for a peek there for a moment, but that was a crucial kill. If they had taken down Gabe or even both of them somehow, then this round is really anybody's. Now Amali goes in to cut them off. They're stuck in, approaching A main, hearing both footsteps. Gabe turns his whole team's attention back in, and the 3 AK's crossfire should be good to shut this down. But they do have one extra prong. That is Mello trying to take away some of the eager eyeballs. They will. As soon as he swings in, Gabe distracted. Trade is in, but it's tenfold better for Take Flight.
Yeah. 8 to the 1 of Limitless that was pulled away with pistols. I guess it just goes to show that if you give Limitless the inch, they might take it the mile, but really, Take Flight haven't given them much more of anything. It's just been a washout at every point of contention. They get into this B bomb site for free, same for A. It gets a little bit hairy maybe towards the mid and late rounds, but ultimately Take Flight should and do take it across each and every time. Utility galore, top to bottom, overwhelming for Limitless right now. They've had this before. They've had 5 rifles with utility and the AWP for Poseidon. We just haven't really seen much come of it. Anthran, we are 1-8. I will restate again. 7 rounds the gap. There is no more time for them to waste on this defense.
Hasn't been for a while. We need to see them put up an answer for all of this early info and early aggression that Take Flight are getting for pretty much free. Right. I imagine there's going to be some early utility at B main off the start. I mean, Molly's cool, but I'd personally like a smoke. I'd rather have that Molly for when they're bursting into the site instead of the smoke.
I concur. Utility now reigning out for Take Flight, who really we were given the luxury of being able to hold on to it for so long as a result of what Take Flight were putting, or excuse me, Limitless were putting forwards in early stages. Now as Gabe sets himself up to maybe just get a little bit of a sightline into mid after the fact, and as he does, he exchanges damage with Shutout, and as he might come out on top, I think it's better that he now knows that there's one player in that vicinity, in that area. Nothing has happened yet in terms of a pop, and this is where the Limitless guys can hunker down in their bomb sites and be ready for it.
We haven't really seen one of these rounds play out this long. And I mean, even in previous series, I feel like this is where Limitless really made their money. These late round holds, forcing Take Flight, or any opponent really, into doing what they want them to do. But again, they're flying blind now. These are essentially two sites that are split up into complete separate islands right now. And neither of them are going to know what's going on until it's far too late, which again, seems to be the case here. Do or die for Limitless in the 10th, and so far, it's actually pretty damn good. Drape a 2 for 1. They've shut them down coming in. It's not going to stop them entirely, but it's bought time for the Cavalry to move through, and a slight advantage. Smoke into heaven as Gabe prepares to get the bomb down with only 20 seconds remaining, and Shutout doesn't have the health to go taking fights in mid.
1-2 punch of the high-low on the A site is going to give them what they need in order to make this work. More than anything else, it's the double kill from Gabe. Trades are available and Doom is close enough. It's Shutout who eventually makes himself known on the scene, but in the back, it is going to be them. Not a whole lot of lines of sight with the head. The only thing to be spotted, it will be the AWP to take that, as a matter of fact. So maybe it is going to be a little bit of a warm-up shot in the DM. It's second round for Limitless and 2 players still standing, but all kudos to Gabe, really.
Yeah. 50-50 that they seem to strike in on. Good stuff. It's about time we saw one of these Limitless holds go their way. And again, it's because when the time came down to it, right? It was a risk, I will say. They still didn't really do a lot optimally to stop something like a super quick pop from Take Flight. But Take Flight gave him the respect. Maybe assuming there was going to be a change in the defense somehow. Maybe assuming there was going to be more counter utility. I think that's what they were really banking on with the pace they had gone for in the round. But still, Limitless did well with a 2-man setup. Well-timed smoke to stop them from coming in. Well-timed crossfire that goes 2 for 1, and then Gabe just stays alive in heaven. They buy time for rotations, flash themselves back in, and they don't really give Take Flight any breathing room. Whereas in the flip side, in a lot of these other rounds, it's been almost the polar opposite.
Yeah, I think that, honestly, I don't know how often you play Anubis or if you've been, like, competitively involved in Anubis for a while, but when you have a read like that and you have 2 players in the A bomb site, you usually have some semblance of an idea of what's going on around the map. And you saw earlier that Grape took that fight in mid and exchanged damage, right? And the big thing about that is that they can fall into a double A bombing setup, because if they do execute into that, it is going to be near impossible to break apart without a smoke or a Molotov to go along with it. So the fact that they go in dry, it's going to be a cakewalk every day of the week for Dane and Grape. And I like to see that they can make it work. And I like to see that they have ideas that are ever changing, because the AWP and Pizza is an absolute madman's position. And Poseidon so far has made it work. And the Molotov onto the floor will keep him at bay for a little bit longer for him to get out.
This is what I've been waiting for. Poseidon getting his hands dirty and getting involved. Already you've seen his impact. Now Doom wakes up with a kill of his own. And all of a sudden, Limitless have turned a new leaf in the final few rounds. We said it earlier, there wasn't any more time for them to keep making these crucial mistakes, and here they've finally put it out. Nade goes through, extra chip onto Beaky, and Take Flight only once if they managed a round win from a situation like this, and the current standings of it were drastically different.
Yeah. Beaky, if there is going to be somebody to crack it open, it's going to be him on the other side of this smoke, because they are giving him a little bit of vision once it will fade as to where they're playing from. It's going to be a matter of the heads-up aim duel, as he's the highest HP player, but the only fact of the matter that he can't really overcome is that he's got a Galil. It's not going to be the one-shot headshot that he would hope from the AK-47, and as that is going to be the case, he backs up and out. Shutout. Not too far beyond him is CoJoMo with the AWP. He's gotten closer and closer to A than anything else. They can soon reconglomerate and make themselves a little bit of a path into a sort of execute. I mean, they only have the one smoke, so it's going to be dry nonetheless, but the last time we had seen a dry take like that with the mid-presence being taken away, stuck inside of the site, didn't go too well for Take Flight.
And at this point, yeah, I don't even see a reason to not go for the save.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
especially going into the last round. Problem is, there's going to be a lot missing from this last part from Take Flight. They should be teed up for an 8-4 finish.
Which isn't terrible. It's not
It's
terrible.
not. Remember what I said earlier? I think Limitless's pistols are actually pretty damn good, especially on this map. This could easily, before the blink of an eye, turn into something like 8-6, 8-7, where Take Flight gotta start biting their fingernails a little bit, wondering what's going so wrong.
And listen, I'll say this, and typically this is the case for me. You've casted with me enough. When I say there is no more time, what I mean is it is a bad half if they don't start winning outright. And they have. They started to at least pull it together to where it's a manageable 8-4. I mean, we've seen crazier things on Anubis than that on the T side, so it's certainly not a done, dusted game. It's 5 rounds that Take Flight will still need to accumulate, and that pistol round is going to be the start for Limitless to really become a force to be reckoned with in it. As Molly does hit the ground, it is going to be Gabe still sticking nearby on the other side of the door, but there are more bodies than he should be ready for.
He's stuck.
Absolutely.
This is a problem. CoJo! Oh no, he was just supporting Cast. Instead, it's Shutout opening it up and CoJo doubling with him. Danejoris, Poseidon quickly come through to fill in the gap that's now opened. But it's not just a gap, it's a crater that Poseidon can't seem to put a close on. Danejoris, no help at A, and even though Doom found a kill back at B onto the lurker, he stopped them from getting flanked. It's really not gonna matter when CoJo is just playing around in mid. Poseidon, a 1v4 blooms in front of him, and with the first falling his way, maybe a little momentum. He has the idea that somebody's stuck in that corner. That timing is ridiculous, bro. It feels like Take Flight deserved that 9-3, and it doesn't seem like all went well for Limitless in the end. Well, Limitless, not exactly what we were anticipating. Whether I'm going to be biased toward Take Flight or not, I did expect this to be a lot more of a close contest. That's not to say it's over just yet, Limitless. Their pistols have been something they've thrived in. But if they don't get it here, they might look to the next map.
It's not over until Anthran sings, and as mid is where you see the 1-for-1 exchange, it's a pretty easy call for the split back. As there is one now actually, hold on, nobody inside of the bomb site. It's going to be an A site walk through from Take Flight. That might be what the doctor ordered for a Limitless pistol. It's given them time to recollect themselves and find a post-plant favorable, knowing that they're going to be flooding in a moment. Here's Mello, and here's the dualies, and can CoJo find him? No, back turn, spam out, whip, and nothing to be found for it. It is going to be all on Poseidon, who's gotten a double in the meantime, but no chance to the slide of the dualies, who collect upon 3 1/10 double digits now for Take Flight.
Dude, Shutout just said he's better, man. He just ran in and decimated everybody. I thought that round was gonna fall apart after they didn't end up clearing out Mello in the corner. But one too many misses, Shutout won't let you get away with that, and then he just destroys everybody else. One pair of dualies or a whole T team. Seems like I know who's winning that battle, and now with a bye on the horizon, Limitless, they're leaving it all on the field in the 14th.
I am almost 100% sure that Poseidon and Shutout have played on a team previously together, so I think that the body shooting is all in good fun. Between
Poseidon
those
doesn't give me the
dualies-
vibes of somebody who's like a
Nope, I
salty
lied,
person.
unless they played in advance. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure they did. This is a weird one for Limitless to put forward, but I like the idea that all their bodies are put together right now. As the nade blows open the smoke, Beaky is in an awkward stance, as he's nowhere really for him to go. It's just the A bomb site player and Shutout, who previously pulled out the plays with the pistols, now upgrades to a rifle and can get nothing done. Although Great might be traded in the meantime thanks to a team kill. They line up. Poseidon has no chance to react, and Gabe is gotten them into a position where now Danejoris is in an almost unwinnable spot between all three of them. SMG, it's not going to have enough ammo into the gun to be able to find them all. As it's Gabe to find the hat trick by the end of it all.
Dude. That was everything done right for Limitless. Like, everything was perfect. They ran up mid together. They were perfectly spaced when that nade was popped open. Beaky had literally zero chance. They continue going up and even get the second kill into A. But the problem is, it's something you can't predict like that. Like, you line up with your teammate by accident, by sheer mistake. Damage comes in a little bit too much, too plentifully. And, hey, one extra kill for Take Flight is all they really needed, it seemed. Everything started to crumble once again. Now you're down to pistols. Your force buys out the window. And so is your, man, I won't say advantage, but equivalency. Now it's double time as things continue to grow negatively. Poseidon and Doom are left to pick up the pieces, and Doom doesn't seem to be want to be a part of that. Now, this is just a cleanup crew running through. Gabe, MDS, credit them for your 12th, and maybe get this show on the road before too long. Unless Limitless can string 9 together, all starting with 1 round's momentum, we'll be kissing this map adieu.
Gabe with the kind of quiet 20 bomb right now, to be honest. Not quiet in the sense that he's having no impact, but quiet in the sense that I wasn't even actually aware of the fact that he had climbed this far to the top of the board. It was MDS who we were making good note of. He was putting his best foot forwards over on that T side, at least visually from what we had gathered. But Gabe, more often than not, has been quite the difference maker in a lot of these rounds, and sure that they're going to be very happy with the fact that it's going to be the case, because they've been able to shut out the heaviest hitters of the opposite side. And as Doom does get active, there is a little bit of a moment of weakness to be exploited. It might be a little bit too little too late, but better late than never, as there is another map on the horizon.
Like, that's what you're looking at right now. Build for the future, play this round by round. No reason to give up, lay down, and die just yet.
No, sir.
And this seems like it's one they won't be worrying about for a long time. We've seen 3-on-5s given away, sure, but look, this would be criminal.
This would literally require Limitless to be locked up in jail, the 5 of them, as well as the organization that put them together.
Wow, you hate Matt that much? We love you, Matt. We love you. Sometimes. Never let him know your next move.
Anthony, is it true that you're really good at CSGO hide and seek?
I loved CSGO hide and seek.
Okay.
I can't remember last time we played it, but you know.
Those are the allegations right now, that you're very, very good at CSGO.
I will take the compliment. Look, they're very rare, but I will take that to the bank. I'll put it in my Twitter bio and everything.
Oh my God.
CSGO hide and seek champion, back-to-back 2-time.
It was a good start in that last round to something that might be beautiful, but the picture they'd have to paint would have to be something to be hung up a wall, the most prestigious of art museums, because this is a lot to ask of Limitless at this stage of the game. I'm not going to put it past them. Never can for any team in this game. CS2 is a new beast. As we see this one start to reach its dramatic finish. Going to be another attempt at a full buy with only an MP9 sacrifice for Take Flight.
And they're looking to go toe-to-toe. Apparently, artillery is adequate enough. Mallow, one of the more consistent players for Limitless this game, as consistent as things have been. He says as he pulls his shirt. Is now gone. But it is, as you said, still a couple of vacancies when it comes to the firepower regard. The MP9 isn't going to be doing you many favors. Oh, and they're trying to flash Dane in. Perfectly placed from shutout, but it's Beaky who has to clean up the kill. Still going toe-to-toe, and that MP9 in the mix is always going to have me worried. But it's a crossfire on B that seems do-or-die-esque. Take Flight of bot here, so this round is 2 for the +1 if you can maintain it, but you have to get the kills first. Flash in, MP9. Again, that's the problem I was worried about. Now Poseidon's walking it down, for which would be a free kill on to Gabe. Looking for the next.
Oh, nice.
Shoulders enough from Beaky. Kojo, a 1v2 to close it. Man, I was originally biased towards. Oh, they both miss. It's ugly. It's not pretty. But now both lining up in Palace. Poseidon will take another victim. I didn't even see him on his screen. But finally, we get the battle of the offers we've been waiting for, and it's Limitless who come out on top.
His ability to walk out all 3 of those kills is kind of ridiculous, to be honest with you. It wasn't like it was a hard peek. It's not like they walked into his crosshair. It was he who had to actually walk into them, all 3 of them. So that's what we like to see. That is a little glimpse of what is going to hopefully be something to come for the Limitless side in the rest of this map and into the next. But humbled truly is CoJoMo in that very moment. It felt like if he just hits that shot onto Poseidon, who's caught out in the middle of nowhere, he has a pretty good run at it.
Yeah. Well, again, this was the consequence. The 6th round given, which, you know, it's not a big deal, right? Like, you're thinking about the lead. You're not thinking about the fact that you're going to lose it just yet. Not really a problem to be thinking about just yet.
No,
Kojo,
no.
only one getting a kill. It's pretty understandable that they don't get much going here on the USPs. And so another one seems to be washed out of existence.
All 5 stay. Excuse me, Grape died. I missed that, actually. But 4 staying alive. Still, very good case scenario for them. About as good as you could have hoped for it to be. Now things are starting to heat up. I mean, again, you weren't thinking about losing the lead by any stretch. You're not asking for an overtime in your head, but certainly, if you're on the side of Limitless, you gotta start feeling pretty good as to how these rounds are starting to shape up for yourself. If you can find this one, that's where you can start to actually believe there's a world you can walk away with it. There's a gap far enough to where I'm sure that they still have doubts in the back of their mind, but as they begin to snowball, at least in Team CS, that's where you kind of have to pull yourselves back together, pull themselves up by the of their boots. Get moving, because the utility from Take Flight is extraordinarily low, Ampharan.
And that's a big problem right now for Take Flight. I feel like this game has been very utility-based, even though some of it's just been MDS running him down and taking him out. The lack of utility has me very alarmed coming into the ending execution. Gabe and Co, they have other intentions, though. Substituting utility with map control may be the optimal idea, but Poseidon is more than ready and equipped. As they walk straight in, the trade is nowhere to be found, and Dane wants to make the most of it. Capitalize on a double! He's just handed Limitless the round on a silver platter.
What a display there from both of them, honestly, truthfully. A quick shot and another one to follow up. This is the heater we were expecting.
You're not saving this.
Not at all. Okay, I lied. And yes, Able to actually adjust on Amelo, who walks in through B main late. 4 players still stand, however, and they find themselves the 7th with no money left into the pocket to take flight. There's more to be done. There's more to be seen, maybe from MDS as well, as they're trying to hunt him down and keep him away from being able to toss this over to CoJo.
CoJo's not been a huge factor in this game, but the op itself is always so volatile. It's worth trying to throw a couple of players at the problem to hunt. Money shouldn't be an issue for a long while for Limitless. Yes. Ooh, Jiggle. Wow. Nasty angle from Dane. And now no worries come into even this force buy. Take flight. They'll have to bow out for 8, and I might be with you, man. Like, this is 2 really good rounds away from potentially going to overtime. I also agree with this timeout here. I like this. I like this from Take Flight.
I agree. CS2 difference, man. Not only is it closer to get to the win, right, but it's also a lot closer to them being hot on your heels at any given point in the game. Snap your fingers, and it's like 3 rounds guaranteed one way or the other, depending on the loss bonus. Keep playing for series point, as you can see, for 5 consecutive rounds. Otherwise, it probably will be the best and biggest comeback on Anubis I've personally casted.
I'd be down.
8-1.
I'm all for a good comeback.
8-1 and then 9-3 half, which went into, I believe, 11-1. Or excuse me, not 11-1, 11-3, but we'll see. Still a little ways away from that much. At least this round should be nothing more than a cheeky kill or 2. Although I say that, and we've seen Limitless do some decent damage and then some in the same situation. It's a matter of keeping yourselves reined in, heads on. Poseidon eats that early HG grenade down to 58. He's not going to be too worried about anything other than maybe a dink from the P250 or 5.7. But quite a ways away from that right now as the rifles take up the forefront of the control. It is going to be Doom eventually right way up closer to E-Box where Gabe lies in wait. That Molotov better force him forwards, and when it does, Poseidon is waiting on the other side.
Easy does it. Limitless won't let you get early map control without a cost, or at least some element of risk, and now the risk pays off with only a minute to spare. Shutout has to hold them down to at least the 1 here. The peak is maybe a little unwarranted, but it's a false sense of security, right? This is all going to essentially be told that this is going to the A end of the map. That's their only mid lurk. Gun given, Shutout tucks in. We have seen this one too many times to count out. Shutout's getting overwhelmed in the middle of the site, though, so this is really all down to timing. He seemingly won't get the better of 5.7 at long range, too many misses, and Dane cleans up once again. Beaky on the far end of the map has no chance, so 8 is given to Limitless for free.
That flash could have been absolutely sick, though, off that pillar. Like, a split second sooner, and the player at the backside of Cake not only has support, but 3 blind Ts. Could have been pretty cool, but it's not going to be the case. Even though I want Limitless to come back, it still would have been pretty cool to see.
Of course. Of course.
As I predicted them, of course. Biased casters on the desk, but we're on 2 different sides. We're allowed to do that. Right?
Maybe. We've been doing it the whole game.
True.
No. Take Flight are running out of chances to set this game out without any second thoughts. I mean, already I feel like Limitless's fight in the second map is going to be better, but I still kind of stick with the train that I believe to make a grand run for the playoffs. This is something that you don't want to be dropping. So
I can't disagree with that. Not in the slightest.
We'll truly see what they're made of. I mean, look, this is like comeback story of a lifetime, it feels. CoJo's on the right side of the map with a perfect blend of chaos. Mellow, ineffective in this one, and with Shutout behind him, this may be all under wraps. Doom, with only 1 answer back, does not leave them well set up for success. CoJo is still somehow dancing around this pillar and staying alive. Doom giving it everything he possibly can. But as the scenes unfold, it's again Poseidon. In the inverse of where CoJo was just a measly few rounds ago, and CoJo refuses to give him any chance back into this round, exchanges to the AK in hopes that maybe it's enough, but the answer is an astounding no. MDS locks it down, and there's no worries for Take Flight past the timeout and the anti-eco. They take the upset in the first map over Limitless. Whether I would have predicted them or not, this is still an upset.
That is a really well-played game from Take Flight on an otherwise impressive Limitless on Anubis in recent history. I have to say, I will give them props where props are due, although I might have predicted Limitless to win. I'm pleasant.